Welcome back to another episode of the Casey Campbell podcast. Casey Campbell with you, of course, and we are pleased to be joined by the we have a big time. I don't know what this person is, but the legendary Will Stone is here. For people that do not know you, tell everybody who you are.
That's a loaded question. You're already jumping into the hard stuff.
I mean, that's what I do, right?
Yeah, my name is Will. The people who probably listening to this probably know me from kind of being Bubba Wallace's photographer last year and admin of the 2311 social account for a year. I just kind of that was my role for a year, and recently I have taken a job with the Memphis Grizzlies, and that is where I'm at now. So that if you follow me, if you follow Casey, that's probably how you know me. And if you don't know me yet, well, good to meet you.
Of course, you've also worked you were at Nebraska. You were also with the Orioles. Last year you were with East Carolina with the baseball team. And then, of course, you just got recently married a year ago. Of course, that's why you left the NASCAR scene. And now you are in Memphis, Tennessee. How is that going?
Yes, I am.
How's that going? Because you're working for a team that you grew up rooting for. First off, how does a kid that grew up in Washington State turn into a Grizzlies fan?
So yeah, two-part question. First answer, my mother's from here. She grew up in Memphis. So we spent, it was always one of those, my grandparents still live here. And so I'd come down here, every couple of years, once in a while. My family kind of, in a roundabout way, lived here for stretches during my younger life. There were points where my dad was kind of in between jobs and we would take some road trips out here. So I've spent quite a good bit of my life in Tennessee. And when it came time to choose an NBA team, the Seattle Supersonics were leaving, and I couldn't really root for them because they were going to be in Oklahoma City, and no self-respecting Washingtonian was going to root for the team that left to go to Oklahoma City. So I said I would root for Memphis, and I kind of came up on them in the mid to late 2000s and have followed them ever since. And so now to be in a spot where kind of working for this team that I grew up rooting for, it's just really cool. It's kind of fulfilling, kind of rewarding, all those special things. The Grizzlies and I have tried to kind of make this work for a while. We actually had talked kind of all through the last few weeks of my college career before I was graduating, and they called me the day after I signed with 2311 and Bubba and said that I was going to, go do that job. I signed my offer letter from them. And then the next day the Grizzlies called me and asked if I was interested in coming here. I said, hey man, your timing really couldn't be worse. And I am so glad that happened because we wound up here, but also got my time in NASCAR and got to work with all those people. So anyway, super cool to be with the Grizzlies, with my team that I grew up rooting for. You really can't match that. And yeah, that's where we're at.
Okay, so this podcast is not all about Will's career. We have to talk about fun stuff because that's why we bring Will on. Okay, so what are some, I know you just got recently married. So of course, while you're recording this, your wife's watching, what is it, Breaking Bad or something?
Yep. Breaking Bad. She's watching Breaking Bad.
Okay, name some shows you want to get into. Like that you want, like.
Oh. Want to get into is a tough question because honestly, if I see a show that I'm interested in, I watch it and I watch it quickly. I'm a TV binger. I've less so now that we've gotten married because now we watch shows at the same pace. Basically, when I was working at NASCAR, I almost always had a show on at all times, no matter what I was doing. I'm one of those people that show on one monitor, work on the other monitor, and I'm just kind of have something in my ears and whatever, and I'll listen to the show honestly more than I'll watch the show. But at this point, I honestly don't know what's on my list. You mentioned Orville before we started this, and this is intriguing. I've heard more people saying that, so I think that's there. But I think the ones we've watched recently, we watched this docuseries on DB Cooper. We watch a lot of true crimey, documentary kind of things. I'm always really interested by that kind of stuff. But we we also find ourselves watching the trashy television of like you mentioned earlier, Love is Blind and
Oh boy.
those kind of things. I mean, you got to watch all the trashy television because it's great. It's great filler stuff. It's great. Like I'm really one of those people that like I've always got to be doing something. I got definite ADHD and I'm always one thing, and I'm not. I just don't.
I
Even
am
care. So
right. I am right with you there. Yeah. It's
yeah.
definitely something. Are you a Bachelor fan?
No, I watched like 2 seasons or 3 seasons when I was in college, just because it was funny to like, me and my bros would heckle it or something while we'd watch. And we'd be, oh yeah, this is funny, haha, and then yeah, you kind of like it, but then it just got hard to follow, and none of the storylines were enjoyable anymore, and so I stopped. I haven't watched it in probably 3 years, maybe, but
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah, sounds good. Let's talk about other things. Working for the Memphis Grizzlies, you get to work for an NBA team. That's got to be pretty cool. So what are you going to be doing for them?
Yeah, so just all the usual stuff. Just a lot of graphics is kind of my main role here at the Grizzlies right now, which is honestly was a big plus when I started. I know a lot of people who are young and in the creative field and stuff, they want to do everything when they start their jobs. I wanted to do everything in half these past jobs, and I got to do everything. But then when the Grizzlies called, they're like, "Look, we need somebody who's going to come in and do a lot of graphic design," which is how I came up when I was with the Huskers, when I was with the Orioles. I was doing 100% graphic design basically and nothing else. And so obviously graphic design is all encompassing. You do some like little motion projects and video kind of things, but it's less like hands-on shooting and more like, just kind of crafting stuff in the back end or whatever and designing it. So when the Grizzlies said that was what my role was going to be, I was like, yeah, that's awesome. That sign me up for that. I'm excited to have one hat to wear now instead of like 5. And so did that. And so it's a lot of the stuff you see on the social feed. I designed our draft graphics for this year, and I'll do some of the stuff kind of here coming up. We got some projects that are going on. You'll design stuff that goes in arena and helps with the fan experience and so on and so forth. So it's just kind of all that stuff and the usual.
Yup. So I know you're from Eastern Washington. What if the Mariners make the postseason? What's going to happen?
Dude, I'm gonna cry. I'll tell you a funny story. This is a Will Stone NASCAR Mariners crossover special that you're about to experience. So last year, probably midway through the season, the Mariners had a really up and down point of the season. 23-11 had a really up and down point of the season. The Mariners had been really good. 23-11 had been pretty bad. Like in general, like that was kind of the way we've been going. And I kind of sat down. I felt like it feels like when we have good weeks, the Mariners seem to have bad weeks. And when the Mariners have bad weeks, we seem to have good weeks at 23-11. So I sat down and I looked at the Bubba Racing reference page and the Mariners baseball reference page. I just kind of like, let's see if this like lines up. And roughly, generally, it was true that when we had good weeks, Mariners would have bad stretches immediately following. And then when we would have good weeks, or bad weeks, vice versa. Anyway, they were inversely correlated. So like, I don't know, it's probably, mid-August or whatever. I'm looking at the schedule. The Mariners are like flirting with a playoff spot. And I'm looking at what's happening. I'm like, I realize that Talladega is the last weekend of the baseball season. Fall Talladega is the last weekend of the baseball season. I said, Dad, you know that I've been claiming this inverse correlation all year. You know that's right. Dad's like, yeah. And I'm like, I promise you, in August, that we're going to win Talladega and the Mariners are going to get eliminated from the playoffs on the same weekend. And my dad is, I have the screenshot to prove it. I can go find it. It is very, very real. And I like a month out, I call this. And indeed, I before flying to Talladega, I have bought wild card tickets at Fenway and Yankee Stadium. And I had a flight to Boston that connected in New York City so that no matter where a potential Mariners wildcard game got played, I would be going. And I was like really excited. And then I was going to fly to Nebraska directly after that and I was going to go watch potential Mariner playoff games with my father. I was taking a week off from going, I think it was Roval weekend directly after Talladega. And so I was going to miss the Roval, and everybody else, because it was in Charlotte, everybody at 23-11 could do that. Anybody could go do that. So I was going to go home, and I was like, it meant everything to me to go see a Mariners playoff game and go watch postseason baseball with my dad and all this. And lo and behold, anyway, fast forward, we win Talladega. The Mariners get eliminated from the playoffs. And I remember like walking down pit road. Obviously, we won on Monday. We won on Monday,
Yep.
and it was and Sunday was the last game of the regular season. So before we get rained out on Sunday, I'm walking down pit road as we're about to start on Sunday before it gets rained out. And I just like turn my phone over, and it just says like Shohei Ohtani has homered. Like he hit a leadoff home run against the Mariners. And I'm like, I told you, I knew it. I knew this was going to happen. And I called my dad. I'm like, Dad, when we come back tomorrow, you better believe we're winning this. And, it's one of those deals that I had just supreme confidence. And so anyway, if the Mariners make the playoffs, man, I'm going to cry. They're going to be tears. They're going to be, if they make the playoffs and if they make a little run in the playoffs, I'm going to be inconsolable. My wife's going to not know what to do with me. She likes and enjoys sports and puts up with it like I do. It's one of those good things where like she'll watch. I had the game on today against the Astros, and she's watching it with me and she enjoys it, but she doesn't care like I do. And I'm one of those people that like, I live and die with my teams, not to the extent that I did when I was probably 18, but now it's like, oh yeah, like this team is going to be something special or they're not. And either way, it's going to break my heart. And anyway, that's my long answer on that one.
Only you would have that answer. I don't even know what to say because that was amazing. So that was mind's blown right there. Nice job.
Yeah. I'll make sure I'll go find the screenshot and send it to you just so you have it, because I promise it is 100% true.
Yeah, that would be the funniest thing ever. So they made a couple moves in the offseason. I'm talking about the Mariners. They made a couple moves in the offseason. Actually the trade deadline, So what do you think about all those? All your new friends that are on there?
Yeah, man, I'm hoping they're not done. That's the first thing I want to say, because they are a good and still incredibly deeply flawed baseball team, and we need more help. So I'm hoping that tonight, I'm hoping while we're recording this, we get a little notification that says the Mariners have made a trade, and I'm over the mood, and we can live react to it in general.
Yes.
But honestly, the Castillo trade is great. I'm really excited about that. The Mariners have, for most of my life, they were just bad. They were just non-competitive. They weren't really real. And anytime they had a chance, to do it, they would choke it. And it was always fluky. It felt like any good year was a fluke year. And now they're at a spot where they've got a fundamentally good team that is capable of winning games. They have a good rotation and a really good bullpen. And if they're going to make the playoffs, they've got to actually like pony up and do it. And for so long, they've sat and made all these like little, B+ trades that kind of help here and there. Last year, they got a reliever at the deadline, and they traded away one of their better relievers for a bench bat. And it was kind of like, maybe you're going to help here and there. But this is like, all right, we're all in. We're going to actually like try and do something. And Castillo's got another year of control. So you've got a top 3 pitching rotation that's comparable to just about anyone. Logan Gilbert, Robbie Ray, and Luis Castillo is, probably the only one that can top it at this point. Realistically, is a healthy DeGrom, Scherzer, and whoever their number 3 is, because that rotation is just ridiculous. But anyway, I like it. They gave up a lot, but that's kind of what you got to do in this economy, and I'm happy with it. So,
yeah. So here we go. Maybe more trades for.
I'm hoping.
I'm hoping. The Mariners have the longest postseason drought in all of sports.
Yes.
Because obviously the Browns had it for like the period of time, and then they made it, and then now it's.
And then Buffalo. Buffalo had it after us, or Buffalo had it before us.
They
made it, and now it's us.
Yeah, now it's us. Now, if you guys make the playoffs, that will be, I believe, the Sacramento Kings will have that.
Good. Put it on the Kings. I hope they get that after this. I hope that changes hands after this year.
Yeah. Okay. Do you know the longest playoff droughts in all 4 leagues? Well, I mentioned 2 of them. Do you know the other 2?
Well, currently in the NFL, it's after Cincinnati had made it. They
That's
had
the
just
longest
one, I guess.
playoff drought without a
Yeah, without a win. Is it currently?
This is
Is it
the
Miami? Is it Miami?
no, it is so this is the longest streak of making the playoff. This is absolutely making the playoff.
Of making the playoffs.
Yes, this is the team with the longest drought of making the playoffs.
Okay, well,
The Browns had this
hold on.
before 2002. Don't go look.
I don't know. I pride myself on the sports trivia, but this is a good question. Okay, hold on. Let me come back to football in a second. And I don't even know hockey well. I couldn't even tell you the hockey drought. Who is the hockey drought?
The two teams that you haven't said, they're actually from the same state.
Okay, hold on. Now let me think. Is it? No. Hold on. This is good. This is good. I'm thinking here. I'm trying to think. See, the problem is I follow hockey like this much. My dad is an Avalanche fan, and so I've become an Avalanche fan. But that's about like my extent of hockey is the Avalanche and the Carolina Hurricanes and kind of the Kraken. But I have a sweatshirt and I kind of know their players.
Kind of.
I just don't know enough hockey. Okay, so I'm gonna say your longest drought is Detroit, the Lions.
No.
Okay, then I don't know. Who is it? Tell me. Just tell me both of them.
It is the Jets. And
that's right.
The Sabres. So the Sabres have not made it since 2007, and the Jets haven't made it since 2010.
Yeah, I wouldn't have pegged it. I guess the Lions have made it more recently than that. I didn't think that. I would have assumed there was a team.
16 was the last one, I think.
I would have assumed there was a longer streak than 12 years in the NFL, but I guess that makes sense.
Well, right. Yeah, the Browns. Well, the Buck.
Right.
2 years ago, the Bucks had that after the Browns did. Well, the Browns and Bucks actually made it the same year. The Bucks made it since 2007. So all of in the 2000s decade is there.
That makes sense.
And obviously now, we're in the 2010s. Yep. Well, now we're in the 2020s, but 2010s now is where that was at. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Lions last made it, I believe, in 2016. 2016 actually was actually they were beat by the Seahawks of all teams. So.
There you go. I love it. Yep. There you go.
Yep. Who knows if they'll ever make it again? Oh boy.
I know. Hey, Seahawks fans, I'm excited. I'm hoping I'm excited. Seahawks fans take Seahawks football way too seriously, and they have for recent years. So I'm hoping a year of just being bad will reset everybody and let them just kind of get back to their roots of memes and stupidity, and we can reset.
Yeah, that's what your Twitter account is. Bunch of memes.
Oh yeah, dude. I live on memes.
Yeah, I know. Let's talk about F1 full of memes over there.
Good.
Say it with me now. Ferrari gonna Ferrari. There we go.
Yeah, Ferrari gonna Ferrari.
Yeah, they did. Well, they Ferrari'd hard today. Literally hard tires. Yes.
They Ferrari'd harder than they have all year in every possible sense, and it was miserable. I mean, it was hard. It was legitimately painful to watch. Like I was sitting there going, I remember when they put on mediums at the beginning, and I was like, I mean, I get that you have to, but like going mediums to mediums is already sketchy because you do have to make the tire change. I'm like, I guess I hope. My brain was saying, all right, look, they got 20 laps from their first set of mediums. If they get 20 laps from their next set of mediums, that's still questionable because you still got to come up with 30 laps somewhere, and you're not going to go to softs at that point. So I'm like, are they going to 3-stop this, or what are they going to? It was just bad. I don't know. It was bad.
Yeah. So
yeah. I don't know.
Massive effort.
Ferrari's in a tough spot.
Yeah, I know. They've always been in a tough spot, regardless. Yeah, it's like, you get on me all the time. Of course, if you haven't noticed or if you live under a rock, Will's a huge F1 fan. And that's how we kind of got to really know each other. Of course, the home of the podium picks is Will.
That you didn't ask for, but you got it anyway.
Yes, you did. We didn't ask for these, but you got them anyway. So there you go.
Yep.
There's a statement right there. So yeah, I will take credit for this. This week I had, let's see, I had Russell P1.
Right.
So you can't get
Right drivers.
Picking Red Bull every single.
No, right drivers, wrong order, but you did good. I wanted to pick Russell first too. Honestly, I almost did at the beginning, but I was kind of like, I just don't know if he's going to actually have the pace to do it. And I kind of want to mix it. I just have a hard time believing that this is how Russell gets his first win. If he would have done it, I would have been really happy for him, but I just kind of like, and I thought, I had enough hope that Ferrari would just be fast today, and they just weren't really that fast. And I expected Sainz would get around Russell fairly quickly on the start, and then that would have fundamentally changed the entire race, and that just didn't happen. So anyway, we'll see. But yeah, the good picks today from you. I was happy with my podium. I had Hamilton and Russell making the podium both. Just had Sainz winning it instead of Verstappen. But we've got a Formula One fantasy league that I participate in, and it is a great time. I've never done something like this before. I'm a huge F1 fan, as you've just called me, and I am. I will absolutely agree with that. The problem is I really did not watch. I didn't watch Formula One before last year. I watched the whole season last year. I really did. Like I would dutifully paid attention to all of it. I would wake up for all the races and all that stuff. It was convenient because most weeks we would be at the track, and so you'd kill 2 hours in the hauler pre-race by watching the F1 race, and it was really convenient. But it's just kind of one of those, okay, whatever, deals. And this year I've like bought in all the way, and I pay attention to everything, and it's bad. I'm like total junkie. But we got F1 fantasy, and going into the summer break, we've got 5 guys. You pick 4 drivers every week. You pick snake order, and the order is set by reverse finishing order the week before. If you finish 5th the week prior, you pick 1st the next week, and so on and so forth. As it stands right now, I think I won 3 of the first 5 weeks, have not won since, but I think 10 points off of the championship lead. I think the winner has like 296 right now. We go just points off of how your drivers get points every week, like normal, So this week I had Lewis, Alonso, Gasly, which Pierre Gasly, that's something I need to say. Pierre Gasly has been painfully disappointing this year. I really thought he was going to have a good season. He has been bad. And I had Albon, and Albon did not have a good day today. So anyway, but at some point you've got to pick one of those bottom feeders anyway. And so anyway, everybody gets stuck with a Williams or a whatever every week.
An AlphaTauri.
Honestly, it had been an Aston Martin, but Aston Martin's they're not good yet, but they're putting it together. So anyway.
So I actually got a friend that's a massive AlphaTauri fan. No, actually, he's a massive Gasly fan. So I'm like,
I love it. I love Gasly fans, man. I love Gasly. Gasly's awesome. I just thought he was going to be good this year, and he's not been good this year.
Man, oh man. When's Mercedes going to win a race?
That's a good question. It's tough because I feel like Hungary was one of their best chances because it doesn't have huge straight line speed necessary. I don't think they'll win Coda because they got to be faster at Coda. Although, here's what I'll say. I thought about it this morning. I thought about who the summer break most benefits. And if you're Red Bull, it benefits you the least. Because if it were up to Red Bull, they just want to run all the rest of the races. However, whatever 9 races they have left, they just want to run them 9 straight weekends because that team is just fast and they can just show up every weekend and dominate everybody. You don't want to let your competition have any chance to catch up.
Yeah.
But I think Mercedes is on the opposite end of that, where they've closed the gap so much over the last 3 or 4 weeks or 3 or 4 race weekends, I should say, where now they're at a spot where they're consistently looking at a podium. Granted, a lot of that is thanks to Ferrari being Ferrari, but at the same time, they have quite quickly caught up to their opposition and made their car a lot better. And so I feel like having the month to like go back to the drawing board a little bit and say, look, okay, what's worked, what hasn't, hopefully out of the break, they show up with an even faster car. So I don't know. Mercedes might, I got to think Lewis gets one at some point this year. just off of sheer probabilities. He's Lewis Hamilton. You think he'll show up with one of them at some point. I'll probably pick him third when we come out of summer break for fantasy, just because. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if Mercedes gets one this year. I got to think Lewis does, but who knows? Maybe Brazil. Brazil feels like maybe a good one if their car can be fast enough. Maybe they'll get them there.
Yeah. What'd you think of the IMS race today?
That's fine. I watched. I didn't watch any of the first stage.
Yeah.
I watched a chunk of the second stage and the third stage. I want him to go back to the oval just because I feel like it would be fun, to run it again. I don't hate the road course. I really don't. But I think that I'm in the camp that there are already enough road courses and they need to get to the point where hey, we're going to run 4 of these a year or 5 of these a year, and we're going to consistently rotate which ones are getting it and stuff like that. But I feel like the Brickyard 400 is too much of the crown jewel, if you will, for it to not be on the schedule. And I feel like just the chaos that ensues both last year and this year from Indy, it's like, is it really worth it? Do we really I don't know. It's a fine race. I don't know. I don't feel like the NASCAR road course product is all that is great right now. Outside of the bumping and running at Coda early in the year when Chastain won, I don't feel like any of the road course races are all that exciting. I mean, some of it's just that Chase Elliott has been so good as of the last month, and he's just kind of dominated the last couple of those. But I don't know. Good for Tyler Reddick, though. Happy for him. Happy for the 2311 people that get to celebrate that with Tyler in that capacity now too. Which that's just all weird. That's a whole dynamic that I know nothing about, and I think it's hilarious that Tyler Reddick is going to have to fight that whole one all year. And
Yeah,
I don't know. Like I said, I really don't care about teams as much as I care about drama. And so if you give me drama in any sports setting, but especially motorsports drama, that's what I'm here for.
Yeah. We've had a lot of that in the last few weeks, of course, with this Reddick thing, and then with Alex Palou, and then he got everything in F1.
Motorsports has been drunk the last few weeks.
I know.
Just hilariously. It's been crazy. They need to chill out for a week. Everybody needs to go to summer break for a while and reset.
Yeah. Yeah. You're in Memphis. I don't know. There's a song that I could say, but I don't want to do it.
Oh, there are a lot of Memphis songs right there. But anyway.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see. So those chain restaurants kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's been on the topic of mind of mine lately because.
Okay.
So I went to a TGI Fridays on Friday.
Because on Friday.
On Why Not YOLO.
Of course.
So that's actually, I found out a few weeks ago that was actually closing.
Okay.
Because it's being turned into a Texas Roadhouse.
Nice.
Is that an upgrade in your opinion?
Well, I honestly can't really speak to that because I don't think I've actually officially ever been to a TGI Fridays. I know exactly what it is, but I don't think I've ever been to one. But I am a huge fan of Texas Roadhouse. So in that case, it is an upgrade because you're going from a restaurant that I don't care about to a restaurant I do care about. I love Texas Roadhouse. So anyway, got it. Yeah, I mean, it's an upgrade in my opinion.
I went to Chili's today.
I went to Chili's with Anna maybe 2 weeks before. No, I think it was like late March, early April, maybe right before we moved from Greenville-ish. Did not have a great experience. We got some queso. My wife is a big chips and queso person. So we got some queso there, and whatever queso we got was not good. And I did not enjoy it. And I honestly it had a weird texture. I'm a big texture eater, when it comes to foods. I don't like squishy foods. I don't like mushrooms. I don't like beans. I don't like any of those kind of foods. But I'm not picky. I just specifically don't like a few textures. And whatever texture this queso had, it was like refried beanie texture. And I just did not like it.
Yeah.
That's not slander to Chili's. It was just to say that the queso I had, I did not like it, and it kind of tanked my experience at that one Chili's in Greenville.
Yeah. And now you're in Memphis.
Yes.
And remember, each and every Chili's has a reserve spot for Alanis King when she goes there.
Of course.
Because why not? Because she actually, I don't know, she might own a part of Chili's. I'm not sure because she spends way too much time there. Yeah, I did see a reserved spot for her today when I went there. So
There you go.
Yeah. So okay. McDonald's, Wendy's, Arby's, or Burger King?
Wendy's, 1000%. McDonald's is great. I love McDonald's in settings, but I could eat Wendy's. I don't know how often I could eat it, but I could eat it a lot if I had to. Yeah, the other ones I would get tired of pretty fast. Wendy's has enough diversity on the menu that I can order quite a few different things and be content. They also have the 4 for $4 / the biggie bag, which is the best value in fast food at this point. The 4 for $4 isn't as good as it was. They used to have the double stack on the 4 for $4, and if you could get the double stack 4 for $4, that was like a $3 burger item plus fries and nuggets and a drink. You could not beat that. Now you got questions because it's not quite as good. You have to do the biggie bag, the $5 for the double stack, but even then, it's still a good value. So Wendy's for sure.
It's a better value. 2 biggie bags.
I mean, why get 1 biggie bag if you can get 2 biggie bags?
I mean, why not? It's
seriously
with the value. I love Wendy's. So
yep.
I mean, it's good stuff. They got good. They got the best, because the thing is they cook them. It's not like, I'm not going to call anybody out because that's not me. It's just they just have those square burgers. It's like,
yep.
Are they? And they're freshly made. Are they?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they are. You can't tell me otherwise. They're just good. The fries might need some work, but I'll take it.
I think their fries are just fine. I think all things considered, they are. Wendy's pound for pound is just about as good as anything when it comes to that first tier of fast food, like the very basic tier of fast food. Wendy's just can't beat it in any capacity.
Now, there's actually 2 categories to food, and I think this last thing we'll do on here. There's fast food, and then there's premium fast food.
Oh yeah.
That's like your Chipotle's, your Five Guys.
You cannot ask Wendy's to go up against Chipotle or Qdoba or Chick-fil-A or Cane's or anything like that. They're totally different. And you got to pay $8 every time you go to Chipotle or Cane's or any of these places. You can pay $4 if you want to go to Wendy's. So yeah, totally different tiers. Anybody who tries to rank them in the same tier or in the same even system, you can't. It's totally impossible.
Okay. So Five Guys. Oh, okay. In your premium fast food list, where do you rank them?
Well, personal favorites, I'm gonna have to go with Five Guys. Definitely up there. It is not number 1 because of the fact that it is now overpriced. It used to be very cheap. I've been to the original Five Guys in Alexandria, Virginia. It's a little hole in the wall joint down there. It's really a pretty cool place. If you ever find yourself in the DC area, absolutely go to the original Five Guys just because it's cool. But I went there in like 2008 when Five Guys was still kind of up and coming. Like, it was cool and it was known, but like it wasn't quite what it is at this point. And it was cheap and it was great, but now it's expensive. So Five Guys is awesome. You need a good burger and good fries. Definitely up there. Probably the best of the premium fast food burger places. There aren't that many of them though, because obviously McDonald's kind of runs that thing. I'm a huge Chipotle guy / Qdoba. Chipotle, it's a little better than Qdoba, but they're pretty much the same. I'll go whatever's cheapest or easiest or closest. Memphis does not have a Qdoba, so we settled for Chipotle in Memphis. But big Cane's guy, big Chick-fil-A guy. Do not ask me to compare Cane's and Chick-fil-A because I won't. They are both amazing and beautiful in their own respective ways. Love Culver's a lot. If you're a Midwesterner, you love it, and I love it too. Beyond that, I don't think it really matters. I think I like Freddy's. Freddy's and Culver's are almost identical in a lot of ways. Culver's is definitely has a leg up on Freddy's, but sans the fries. Freddy's fries are undefeated. But all of those, anyway, just all of those. I mean, can't beat any of them. They're all great. I'm just a big food guy. I love it. I just anywhere you let me go eat, I'll do it. And so all that stuff.
Have you taken Freddie Kraft to a Freddy's?
No, I have not, unfortunately. I can't
I
say I
need
have.
to take Freddie Kraft to a Freddy's.
Call into his podcast and tell him to do that there.
Alrighty then. All right, well, Stone, thank you so much. We'll have you on again because why not? Because you're you.
Entertainment.
All right, go get that checkered flag, buddy.